So on your screen, you find that between F and A, there is a gap. That gap is what we refer to as closing error of closure. Closing error or error of closure. It is that simple. For you to know whether your traverse should have been a closed one or an open one, you look at your table. You should start with a certain alphabet and end with another that same alphabet. So when you plot, you are supposed to end where you started the plotting from. If not, there's this error of closure. So that is what you are going to do now. When there's an error of closure, you have to adjust the traverse. That's why the heading is adjusting compass traverses. You understand? Now, if you look at what we have here, this is the procedure that is used in adjusting your traverse. Yesterday, before we closed, I told you to go and try your hands on the first plotting we did. And I even mentioned that if yours was missing, go and redo it. If yours was not properly done, go and redo it, and so on. I hope you have done that, because that is what we are going to use for, at least for this first attempt. So you need to correct it. You need to correct your traverse or adjust it. The procedure for correcting it is known as the Bowditch rule. The Bowditch rule, which is a graphical method. Bowditch rule. There's a gap there. That small gap, it shouldn't be. Is it on the ground or in compass traversing surveying? We work with decimals. Okay, so every small thing there stands for something big on the field. Therefore, that gap you see there after plotting, it's not just a small gap. It's a big area that is left out. And so you have to adopt every means to, correct it. And the procedure, as I mentioned, there are a number of them, but the most common one is the Bowditch rule. Okay. This Bowditch rule is a graphical one. So after graphing your traverses, you also use a graphical method to correct it. And this method tries to distribute or spread the error over the legs, depending on how big it is. So starting from traverse leg AB, BC, CD in that order. It might not be AB, BC, and so on. It can be any other alphabet, but the alphabet should be contiguous. Okay, so you use the Bowditch rule to distribute the error and to spread it. Okay, it is just like all of you are in a company. You have different shares in the company. At the end of the day, the company gets some or registers some losses. Who will bear the loss? The loss will have to be spread over for the shareholders to bear. And so, if you're a bigger shareholder, you pay more. If you are a minority shareholder, you pay less. That is what this one seeks to do. Okay, so this is the procedure. Please, if you can capture the procedure on your phone, it will be fine, so that you can make reference to it when we begin the practical work. Procedure for correcting the error. Sorry. Okay, so the whole plotting that you did has legs A, B, B, C, C, D, D, E, E, F, and so on. So the first step is that you measure the entire thing that you have measured. So like AB, you measure it. Don't take it for granted that you have the distances on your table. No. You still have to measure. Reason is that sometimes the error occurred as a result of the plotting. All right. So that if you measure from what you have plotted, then you'll be able to get the error proper. If you want to use the figures that are there originally, you may be wrong, because sometimes you plot something different from what is on your table. So you look at traverse leg AB, you measure the length. Traverse leg BC, you measure the length. Traverse leg CD, you measure EE, EF, and then FA, as the case may be. You measure all of them and record again on a table. This time without the bearings, only the distances. When that is done, you sum all the distances you measured up. You sum them up. So today we will do a different plotting, another type of plotting. This time using the scale given in the book. When you sum them up, the next thing is that you draw a horizontal line which should be equal to the sum. It should be equal to the sum. All right, all the summation you did in the first bullet. To draw a horizontal line equal or proportional to the sum of the lengths of the traverse legs, labeled A on the left and F on the right of the line. Okay. If your lines are very short and you are fortunate, you have it on a piece of paper, or a piece of paper can contain it. But if your lengths are very long, it means that there wouldn't be any piece of paper that can contain it. Then you do the second thing under the bullet 2. If the line is longer than an ordinary paper can contain, choose an appropriate scale with which the lengths or the distances can be reduced. All right, so you reduce your lengths using a chosen scale. When we get there, we shall have a look at that one too. Then, after you have done this, you are going to measure the length of the gap. The length of the gap. We are using FA. You should have ended at A, but it ended at F. You understand? You are going to measure that gap and use it to draw a perpendicular line at F. The end of the perpendicular line is marked F. When you start, you get to know all this. Okay, so your ruler will do the work. That gap will be measured. That is what you use to draw a perpendicular. Sometimes it is in decimals, not sometimes. You hardly can get it in whole numbers, whole figures. So in most cases, it is in decimals, 0.2, 0.9, 0.3, like that. That is the line you draw. And so you connect this one, the perpendicular line at F, whose length is equal to FA, with A on the left hand of line AF. Again, it will sound so strange in your ears, but when you start, you make reference to this. And when that is done, you are now going to divide whatever you have done. Okay? You are now going to divide whatever you have done according to the lengths you measured. According to the lengths you measured. Okay? And that means that if it is traverse A or B or C, it has a part of the error distributed over it. A part of it. If I should take you to the next slide. Now, watch here. You see this diagram? From A to F, down. From A to F. That is the entire lengths or distances you plotted. A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, E to F. You get it? That is the horizontal line. And then you heard I said that you have to measure the gap, the error of closure. You measure it with your ruler and get the figure. It is that figure, that is used to draw the perpendicular line at F prime and F. If you have seen it, F prime and F. You use the gap there. So the line, the vertical line at F prime and F on your screen is the gap, the length of the gap. That is the length of the gap. So if you measure and got, let's say, 0.5, you come and stand at F and measure up to 0.5. You place a point there If it is 0.9, the same thing. Whatever the figure is, the same thing. After you have done that, you now have 2 points that you can connect. All right. The tip of that vertical line connected to the beginning of your horizontal line. So you have a triangle as you have on the screen. This is the body rule. After you have gotten this triangle, you are now going to divide this triangle according to the individual traverse legs. So on your screen, you see down, you see A, B, C, D, E, F. All right. That is, so from A to B, that is traverse leg AB. That was the length you plotted. Then BC, that was traverse leg BC, the length you plotted. CD, DE, EF, and so on. All right. Therefore, each of the perpendicular lines standing on or between D and D prime, between B and B prime, C and C prime, E and E prime, stand for the share of that traverse leg of the error that we identified. And so when you are going to correct, and I tell you this one, it takes a while to understand the error of closure. But still, some of you can go online and see it. So those are the traverse legs and the amount of the error that they are going to carry. Now with this, you are going to measure the small distance between B and B prime. And then you go to where B is and measure that distance. You go to C and measure the small distance between C and C prime. Oh, I should have made a certain call. You go to D and measure the, at a point, I'll take about 5 minutes of your time and make a certain call. That will be when I'll tell you to do some work. D and D prime, E and E prime. So all those perpendicular lines or vertical lines standing are the shares of the various traverse legs. So eventually, sorry, a minute. Yes. Okay, encore. Eventually, this is how the distribution will go. A minute. Off the table fan. It's giving me bubbles. So this is how the distribution will go. Start from A, the diagram on your screen. Start from A. From A, you go to B. All right. I mean B, not B prime. Then you go to C, the solid line. That is original plotting. So this plotting should have ended at A, but it ended at F. You got it? All right. So it is these distances that you measure. You measure what you plotted, A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, and then E to F. And then when you are done, you go and put it on a diagram like this so that the errors, I don't know whether you can see the cursor, the errors will be distributed this way. I'm giving you the theoretical background, at least some knowledge about it, so that when we enter into the practicals, you will not be found wanting. Okay, so the broken lines, the broken lines are the distribution. That is a corrected traverse. So now you see that the broken lines, they are ending at A. It started from A, went to B prime, C prime, D prime, E prime, and then it came back to A. The error has been corrected. So that is how it should be, and that is how it is going to be. The diagram, the data that we have is going to give us something of this nature. All right. Now you see the error of closure here. A, it started from here, it went to B over there, it came to C here, D, E, and then you should have gone back straight to A. But it didn't end there. It ended in the middle here at A prime. So there are some broken lines here. That gap, this gap here, is what you call the error of closure. And this is what we are going to distribute over all the points. You understand? This is what we are going to distribute over all the points. I hope that is clear. All right. Now, as I said, I'll take a minute or so of your time and make a call. By that time or before then, in order that we will not have long distances, I think I have to let you do something. You are going to use the data on the board. It is the same as what you used the other day, the previous day, and yesterday. But this time, the scale is 1:100. All right. So you have shorter, smaller figures, shorter, smaller scaled distance. So we're going to plot this now in order that we can use this to correct the error. Okay. When we are done, we will use the first one that you plotted also, because that one you have long distances. So it will call for the application of a second or another strategy. All right. So I'll pause. Once you can see the screen, please use this data. Complete the lesson is complete. Mm? The table is complete. You are not going to do any more conversion. All right. So you are plotting 290 against 3.28 in that order. So plot this, and when you are done, we shall use whatever you plot to correct our error. And then the human so you will have to bear with me. Okay, so I'll pause. I made them go back. No pause so that one time call. We'll be mousing fast. Uh, how do I off my my microphone? Actually, but I hope you can still see the screen, can't you?
Yes, Doc.
Yes, sir. Yeah, as I said, you are doing the plotting. Please, let's use about 5 minutes for this. But now, you are getting conversant with the plotting. All right. I'll be back in the next 5 minutes for us to continue. Thank you. All right. Thank God I am back. My network went off. So here we are. This is what we are presenting. I hope you are done with your plotting. I hope. Do I have that indication that you are done with your plot? Okay, so compare what you have just plotted to the one we plotted the first time. You see that one is a symmetry of the other. Yes. So we will use what you have just plotted to do our adjustment. So if all of you are ready, let me know so that we start following the instructions as I projected one after the other. This is what you are going to follow. Are you all done with the plotting? But by now, you should be a bit faster. Good. Ready? Ready?
Yes, please.
Okay, good. I'm hearing a female voice that you are ready. It means you are ready indeed. Now, as I said, sorry, plotting comes with instructions. You follow the instruction one after the other. So pick your ruler, pick your pencil, and you can have your pen by your side. Look for a small space where you do some recording. You put a small table there, a 2-column table. All right. If all these are ready, let's start. Yankwe. 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 Hey, I can't hear you. Can we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Good. So pick your ruler. We are measuring line AB, the one you have plotted, not the one on your table. The table I showed you, no way. We are measuring line AB. So from cardinal to cardinal, cardinal point, cardinal point. On the diagram you just plotted. So you write somewhere, in a space somewhere, AB equal to. Then you pick your ruler. You can start either from B to A or A to B to give you the same figure. All right. But the orientation of your paper, you can start from B to A. So if you start from B to A, what you plotted is giving you, okay, what I have plotted or what I plotted is giving me 3.2. 3.2. What did you get? What did you get? Anybody? Measure yours and tell me what you got.
3.2.
You also got 3.2. So record it. Just write AB equal to 3.2.
Dog, if yours is more than 3.2, are you right? Or
yes, you should write it.
Okay.
Because it was 3.28, so it was almost 3.3. So write it. Okay, you are done with AB. Now let's go to BC. The same procedure. measure the one you have plotted, line BC. I am getting 1.9. 1.9. So you write BC equal to 1.9 centimeters. You can decide to ignore the unit. BC is equal to 1.9. What did you get?
So I
What
had
did you get?
2.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Who else?
Please, I got 1.9.
Okay, that's all right. So record it. BC equal to 1.9 or 2, as the case may be. Now let's go on to CD. Procedure. On your diagram, you measure CD. CD, I am getting 2. 2. As I said, as you do it, I'm also doing it so that we all will be on the same page. I'm getting 2. What did you get?
Also 1.9.
Please, I got 2.
All right, good.
1.9.
Okay,
1.9.
good. Now let's go to DE. DE, the same procedure. DE. DE. I am getting 2.3. 2.3, yes. What did you get?
2.2.
2.3.
Okay,
2.2.
2.2.
around the same. Okay, that's correct. That's correct. Let's move on. So you record DE equal to 2.3. In my case, record yours. Then you realize that from E, you should have ended at A. If you did the plotting very well, it didn't end there. It didn't end at A. It ended at a point different from A. So wherever point it ended, label it A prime. Label it A prime. I hope you know how to write a prime. A with a certain apostrophe or some comma at the top. A prime. So from E to A prime, what did you get? I am getting 3.6. 3.6. What did you get? So it is E A prime minus
3.6.
Yeah, 3.6. All right. So these are the figures.
Mine is 3.7.
3.7. Okay, you are within the range.
Okay.
3.5.
Okay, 3.5. Okay, you are also within the range.
3.6.
Okay. So these are figures we have plotted. That is the first step. To measure the lengths of traverse like AB, BC, as you see on your screen, CD, DE, EF, and sum them up. Okay, now we have finished the measurement. It is left with a summation. So just like when you are summing, you underline it, and then you start 3.2, 3.2 in my case, so do yours, plus 1.9, plus 2. I'm calling out my figures so that the recording will be fine. But you have different figures, so use your figures. Plus 2 plus 2.3 plus 3.6. Okay, so I am getting exactly 13 centimeters. 13 centimeters.
12.8.
You got what? 12.8.
8.
Okay, within the range.
Please, I got 13.
You got 13, correct? Within
Yes,
the
sir.
range.
So I had 13.
You had 13, correct?
12.8.
Anybody else?
12.9.
12.8, okay.
12.9.
12.9, within the range still. Okay. So that is the length of all the total length of all the traverses we have plotted. That is the first bullet. We are done with that one. I hope you captured it. Let's move to the second bullet on your screen. We are going to draw a horizontal line equal or proportional to the sum of the lengths of the traverse legs, labeled A. So I got 13. Therefore, I pick my ruler. Look on the ruler. I hope those of you who are using the mathematical set one, you will get 13 or 12.8 in there. So on your sheet of paper, look for any convenient place where you can get 13 centimeters or 12.8 centimeters, as the case may be. I got 13, so I'm drawing a horizontal straight line. Horizontal line. I hope you know the difference between horizontal and vertical. Horizontal is the line drawn from left to right or right to left, or east to west or west to east. Okay, so I am drawing a line to stand at 13 centimeters because I got 13. But make sure the ends are well marked. The ends of the line are well marked. So draw that 13 centimeters. Stephanie?
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir. Please, with mine, with the tools, I got 12.6.
12.6. Okay, for now, let's use it to draw a line standing at 12.6. Because this is a practical work. When you get the understanding, maybe from the plotting, you miss a few decimal points.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Enquire. Ready? Are you done?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we are going to do the next one, and the next one is a measure of the distance between A and A prime. We're going to measure the distance between A and A prime. Are you ready? The distance between A and A prime. And how do we measure? We can use the ruler. But at this point, I don't prefer the ruler. I prefer the divider. All right? I hope you know the divider. The divider, that one has a more pointed tip. A more pointed tip. So you can get the figure very well. you can get it very well. But before then, before you measure between A and A prime, you have to connect the two with broken lines. That gap, small gap, so small broken lines be, small ones be, so that it becomes clear. But if that one is not there, nobody will punish you. To use your divider, it can also be your compass. Your divider or your compass to pick that small distance. That small distance between A and A prime. You are measuring the two. I hope you have gotten the instruction.
Sir.
I am getting, yeah.
Sir, please, sorry, but my network was actually not all that good. Sir, please, the line that you said we should draw, please, where are we to stand? Like, where should we start from, please? I beg you, please.
What was the question?
Sir, the horizontal line that you said we should draw. You said we should draw a line with the 13 centimeters that we had.
And that was all. So you draw a 13 centimeter line.
Still.
Okay, sir.
Still. Yeah. So I was saying that draw it at any convenient place, not necessarily on the point that you have joined. Any convenient place.
Okay. I said you should look for an empty space, a place where nothing has been written.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Right. So measuring the distance, I am getting exactly 0.56 centimeters. What did you get? Or 0.5, if you like.
Okay, we got 0.5.
What did you get?
0.5.
You also got 0.5. Okay. Voila. Thank God you have 0.5. Now, please, are you all done? Because I don't want us to be dragged back.
0.4.
So please, I got more than that.
What did you get?
Mine was 2.5.
Hey, Ade, you go to go to Autochrono. No, then you have to go back and relook at your plotting.
Okay,
as I
please.
said, the gap is not supposed to be too big. 1.1, 1.2. Other than that, it should be in decimals.
Then I had 0.
Your plotting was fully done. All right. So you have to relook at it. But I doubt if you can wait for you. So I have 0.5. I have 0.5. You also have 0.5. What are we going to use the 0.5 for? At the end of your 13 centimeter line, at the end of your 13 centimeter line, that is to the right hand side, you write A prime. Write A prime. And then stand at A prime. Stand at A prime and rule a vertical line. Rule a vertical line 5 centimeters, 0.5 centimeters from A prime. I hope you've gotten it. A vertical line, so it is going to be very short. Very, very short. Vertical line standing at A prime. 0.5 in my case, 0.6 in your case. Even if you got 0.8, cry, it's okay. 0.9 is okay. So draw that vertical line at A prime. I hope that is done. Done? Maria?
Yes, sir.
Good. Once I hear a female voice, then truly, Maria. Let's move to the next one. Now, you see that we now have 3 points. 3 points. We have the beginning of your 13 centimeter line or 12.8 centimeter line or 12.6 centimeter line. We have the end of that line, and we have the end of your perpendicular line. That is the 0.5 vertical line that we just drew at A prime. These are the 3 points we have. Correct? Do you have that? Good. Now, what you are going to do next is to connect the end of your 0.5 line to the beginning of your 13 centimeter line or 12.8 centimeter line. I hope you got it. To connect, you see the 0.5 vertical line at A prime, where it ends. Where it ends. Put your ruler there and put your ruler at the beginning of the 12.8 centimeter line. You find that you have a slanting edge. So you join the 2 points with a straight line. You join the 2 points with a straight line. Okay. So you are having something looking more like a triangle. It is looking more like a triangle. Finished? Finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. About this, I say man's voice. No, it means you are not done. The women, are you sure we are done? Prudence. Abba. Mary. These are
They
names
are lost.
that I remember. I don't have access to your tele. I don't want to click until I can't see your list. I'm only calling out the names. Good. Are you all done?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, the next thing to do is to divide the 13 centimeter line according to the distances we measured from the plotted traverse. Remember earlier, you did a table. All right. When you measured, you recorded it. You measured, you recorded. You measured, you recorded. And you sum them up to 13 centimeters, up to 12.8 centimeters, up to 12.6 centimeters. You remember that? So that table, not the original one, that table that you did is what I'm talking about. Mine, I got AB 3.2, BC 1.9, CD 2, DE 2.3, EA prime 3.6, totaling 13 centimeters. That table is what I'm referring to now. You understand it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are going to divide the line you constructed according to those distances that you recorded on that small table. The first one, in my case, is 3.2. Start from the left. Put your ruler there. Start from the left. Okay. on that line and measure 3.2. When you get to 3.2, you give a small mark over there. All right, 3.2, you mark it. On your line, on your 13 centimeter or 12.8 or 12.6 centimeter line. You mark 3.2. I hope you have done that. I don't want to get to the next one so that somebody will say I didn't get. That's why I ask whether you are done before you proceed. And you say you could do next one now, catch them say one yet the previous one now. I will not come back. Marked? Marked?
Yes, sir.
Good. So where you have marked, write B. Write B. Alphabet B. Write alphabet B. Okay, we are moving to the next one. Let's go to BC. BC, I got 1.9. So I'll come and now stand at B on line 13 centimeters, on the 13 centimeter line. I'll stand at B, okay, with the beginning of the ruler at B, and then measure 1.9. When I get to that point, I make a mark on my 13 centimeter line. I make a mark. So do same. Done? Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So where you made that mark, you write C. That's your C. Okay. Now let's go to the third one. It is line CD. I got 2. What did you get? So I'll stand at C on my 13 centimeter line, or your 12.8 centimeter line, or the 12.6 centimeter line. Okay. And then with the beginning of your ruler at C on that line, you mark 2. I got 2. So if you got 1.9, you mark 1.9 on that line. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, so after you have done that marking, you write D. That's your D. That is your D. And all right, I assume you are all done. So we have the next one to be DE. I got 2.3. What did you get? I got 2.3. What did you get?
2.2.
2.2. Okay. So stand at D with the beginning of a ruler at D on your 13 centimeter line, or 12.8 line, or 12.6 line. And then measure to the right 2.3. In my case, In your case, 2.2. You understand? And I hope you know how to do the calculation. I have my 2.3 here. I hope you have also gotten your 2.3. You put a mark on line, your 13 centimeter line. Now that mark should give you E. E. The alphabet E. The alphabet E. Captured? Captured?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The woman, are you done?
Yes, sir.
Good. So now we have, if you look on your line, 13, your 13 17th line, or your 12.8 or 12.6, we have all the traverse legs representing B, C, D, E. It's left with A, even though you have A prime. So the A will sit on top of A prime. The alphabet A will sit on top of A prime, up there. So you have A at the top, A prime at the bottom. That is on top of the horizontal line, sorry, the vertical line you drew, the 0.5 line that you drew. I hope it is done. I hope you have done it. Good. Now bring out your ruler. Bring out your ruler. We are going to connect B to the slanting line. We are connecting C to the slanting line. We are connecting D to the slanting line. Okay, with a short vertical line or short vertical lines. And then E to the short slanting line. In other words, the marks that you made on the 13 centimeter line, the 12.8 centimeter line, 12.6 centimeter line, that marking, you are putting a vertical line over there for that line to go and touch the slanting line you drew earlier.
Sir, please, can you repeat what you said again?
Yeah, what you said I should repeat. You are only connecting them. There are 3 lines, 2 lines here, or should I say 3 lines? You are connecting the marks you made with vertical lines. So now,
okay, sir.
Your line will be divided in that manner between E and A prime. That is supposed to be 3.6. That is supposed to be 3.6. Hmm. 3.6. Okay, now done. Let's do the next thing. On top of B, now B is connected to the slanting line, all of them. On top of that one, B, we are writing B prime. On top of C, we are writing C prime. On top of D, we are writing D prime. On top of E, we are writing E prime. Then A and A prime are already there. We have them already. Here we are. Are we done?
Yes, we are, sir.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. All right. All right. Now pick your your divider or your compass. I like those ones when it gets to the tiny measurements. Pick your divider or your compass. Are you done? Mm-hmm. Having picked it, we are now going to measure all those small vertical lines. All those small vertical lines. We are going to measure them. So stand at B, open your divider to go and touch where B prime is, that line. You get a certain decimal, very tiny, sometimes less than 0.1. Mm-hmm.
Say 0.3.
Oh, you got 0.3.
0.2.
For B.
I see. So you write another table. You do another table. Okay. This time you are using B prime, C prime, D prime. But before we move on, let me show you what we have done before the measurements come in. This is what we have done. Hey, all right. This is what we have done so far. Look on your screen. Have you gotten it? This is what we have done. It looks bigger on the screen because we exaggerated what is in the book. But that is what we have done with the E prime and all of them. Correct. So we're going to write another table. This time BB prime. That is a starting point. BB prime. So BB prime, what did you get? You said 0.3. Hey, are you sure it's 0.3?
That's
Okay,
0.4.
you got 0.what?
2.
Okay, so 0.3, 0.2. Then you go to C prime. You measure that one to using your. I didn't do that one, so I'm writing what you are bringing out. So C prime, you had what?
0.3.
0.3, meaning the BB prime should be 0.2 because they cannot be the same height.
Yeah.
So BB prime to give us 0.2, then CC prime should give us 0.3. What about DD prime?
0.4.
That will give us 0.4.
0.4. Yes.
0.4. I see. And the last one is EE prime. EE prime. What did you get?
0.4.
That one you got 0.4.
I had 0.3 for DD pi.
Who else got another figure? That one should be bigger than just the DD prime.
DD prime 0.3.
EE prime, what did you get?
BB prime 0.3, EE prime 0.4.
EE prime, I had 0.45.
0.45. That will sound better. 0.5 will sound better. There should be some gap between the first and the preceding one. The preceding one and then the later one. The one that will come later. All right, so we are done spreading the error. We have distributed the error over the various traverse legs. That gap that existed was 0.5. When we shared, BB prime got 0.2, CC prime got 0.3, DD prime got 0.4, EE prime got 0.45. Every one of them has gotten its fair share. They are not done. This is only the calculation mathematics aspect of it. We are now going to the graphical aspect of it, where we are now going to use it to graph. In other words, to correct the gap. It is here that again you need to listen and listen well. You need to listen and listen well. Good. So the instrument that you need: pencil, ruler. Pencil, ruler. They are the two instruments that you need. So I believe you have picked them. Let's move to the next one. We are now going on to the plotted traverse, the one we plotted. We're going to adjust it over there. I listen to this preamble. See how slow I'm going. Somebody's microphone is giving us some feedback. Yeah. If you can mute, that'll be fine. You know, when we were writing the latest table, you started from B, C, all the way up to E prime. Now, what you have to note is that when correcting the gap or closing the gap, the starting point doesn't have any error. The starting point where you plotted A, there's no error. Over there, you didn't even plot any bearing. The bearing was plotted at B. That is why you don't see A prime in the table, the last table that you drew. The A prime is the 0.5 that we worked with earlier. So what we are going to do is that we are going to plot all these 0.2, 0.3, and so on the plotted traverse. But again, listen carefully. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. You will stand at B. You will stand at B and measure from the center of B 0.2. The question is, if you measure 0.2, is it going up or down? Because once you measure, it will sit some distance away from the center of your cardinal point at B. You get it? It will sit from that point at a different point. And so will it be at the top of that cardinal point or it will be at the bottom? Now the rule is that first, you will let your line, the line that you are going to draw, all right, you will let it be parallel to the original line that you did. You will let it be parallel. You understand? So for line AB, you stand at B. You put your ruler, letting the center or the starting point be at the center of your cardinal point. All right. Then down, you measure 0.2. 0.2. Now that 0.2 is going to be perpendicular or parallel to the existing line. That is the line between B and C. Okay, it is going to be parallel to that line. That is what you have to note. Did I repeat it? I know some of you are confused.
Yes, sir. Repeat it for us.
Okay, no problem. After the confusion, it will always be there. They say if you can't convince them, confuse them. But I'll try my best to convince you. I'll try my best to convince you. Okay. So at B, that is where you are going to plot the 0.2. Remember, on your plotted traverse. Because A is a starting point, there is no error there. To stand at B, you be at B, go to B, and make sure you are the center of the cardinal at B, the cardinal point at B. I hope you are there. I hope you are there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now look at the line between B and C, and let your ruler, which is giving 0.2, let it be on the same plane, parallel to that line. And which you are, all right, what a factor slope, because so you are measuring 0.2 from the center of your cardinal up. Up. It's a better slope, but big crabby with a factor slope. Because if you bring it down, it means your traverse will also come down. But Nini and I are the correct to give you the same result. So 0.2 from the center of your cardinal point, and you see that that dot that you place, the 0.2 centimeter dot, will sit in the first quadrant, somewhere up, first quadrant. So
So please, I'm confused. So take it again, sir.
oh, this one cassava. More cassava. Okay. So we are constructing a dot, a line 0.2 from the center of the cardinal point at B. Please, repeat it. From the center of the cardinal point at B. Now that dot is going to be 0.2 from that center, and it is going to be on the same line. And then the line between B and C, the same column. You pass through the same column, right? You pass through the same column, because if you check, you see that from A to B, you were climbing a bit. Your line AB was going up a bit. So in the next line that you want to construct, by way of correcting it, you also go up. And from the center of the cardinal at B, you are measuring 0.2. The 0.2 will be in the first quadrant in the cardinal at B. And it should be on the same plane as if you are ruling a line to join the two, to join that dot and line BC, as if you are drawing a line to join that dot and line BC. So it will be on the same line as line BC. But this time it is in the first quadrant at B, that dot. So when you have gotten that dot in the first quadrant at B, you rule a line, okay, from the center of the cardinal at B to connect that dot. You rule a line, a very short line, tiny line, very, very tiny. So if your pencil is not pointed, you may struggle to get it. A very tiny line. Yeah, we. Yeah, we. If you are done, let's know. Are you done?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So now come and stand at A. So now we have 2 points. We have 2 points. And what are those 2 points? We are connecting that line you just drew, that short line you just drew, to the center of the cardinal at A.
Okay.
We are connecting that line to the center. That 0.2 line you connect. You constructed at B. You are connecting it to the center of cardinal point at A. But we mean kind of view. So you put your ruler there to connect the two. Now, when they are all in line, this time you are not ruling a solid line. You are using broken lines. Broken lines. Broken lines. So that it will be different from the original plotting or plotted line that you drew. Broken lines. Here we are. Here we are.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, let's come to C. We are done with line AB. That is the share of the error line AB will have. We are coming to C. We are now coming to stand at C. So you go onto your table and see the figure for C. That is 0.3. So you come and stand at C on the plotted traverse. On the plotted traverse. Stand at C. Make sure you are at the middle of the cardinal at C. Are you there? Are you there? Okay. So over there too, you are constructing a line which will stand at 0.3. Okay, now this line should depart a bit. You should move away a bit from line. You should move away a bit from line BC. So if you use your ruler, you get your 0.3. The dot you place there should be a bit away from line BC. As I said, for line BC, because that dot must correspond to the earlier dot that you did at B. All right. So you place it. There are a whole lot of techniques here, but I just want to make it simple for you because you have to follow the direction of movement of the traverse. In order that you can do the adjustment. But here I want to, because this is the first time. The the next time we meet, you do another one. That will be probably tomorrow. And then you'll be done with the traverse and move on. Okay, so let's assume you have been able to place your 0.3 dot somewhere. And again, it will still be in the first quadrant. If you want to, if I should use the protractor to tell you the angle of that dot, all right? If I use the protractor to tell you, that dot is about 50 degrees where it is. 50 degrees or 45 degrees if you trace. So you have it. Now, draw a line to connect that dot. So the center of the cardinal at C and that dot should be connected with a line. A very short line, tiny line. A very tiny line. Yankwe. Have you drawn it? Because that is how it is. This is the first time. But now I know most of you are okay with the plotting of the traverse. So this is the first time it will be some kind of roller coaster situation. But eventually you'll be fine with that adjustment.
Hello, sir. Please, I'm a little bit confused over here.
Master, one for Abby and near to the Obaki can the Oki can because I take my time to give you everything. My cram I kind of say quadrant at them. I'll be able to tell you at least if you are using the protractor degree. So you only have to follow and make the effort. Man can say you can't be open. You have to apply your mind to it and then follow. Because I'm not standing before you to be able to explain. So that is it. You have your 0.3 line at C. Meaning, so me can't am you. Why you are doing free the open via some farmer there? Any trouble for you? Yes, who is okay with what you have done? Let's see.
Okay, there. No.
Also, be class of no. You will not follow. You. I'm waiting for your responses. So. I will be intimated 2 seconds. I am not.
There we are done.
We're done.
All right. So you now have your 0.3 small line. As I said, that line is separated a bit from line BC. Okay, it's a very short one. Now, we have to connect B to C using broken lines. And how do we do that? You see the tip of the first line that you drew, the tip of it, the first line at B that you drew. At B now, then you go to B. No, I heard there now here will B. There was a small line 0.2 that you drew. The tip of it, no, I call her. And then the one I can once. That's how to follow the thing. So the tip of that line at B, you put your ruler there. And then the tip of that short line at C that you just drew, you put your ruler also there. So now you have the 2 points aligned nicely. Are you there? Any problem?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the same as you did for AB, you are connecting these two with broken lines, broken lines, short lines, all the way up to the tip. Broken lines. Captured?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's come to D. When we measure D prime, we got 0.4. 0.4. So with this 0.4, so if you check here, you see that all the lines that we are drawing are in the first quadrant, all of them. All the broken lines and their short lines are in the first quadrant. So again, at D, we're going to operate within the first quadrant. Within the first quadrant. And as soon as you start operating within the first quadrant, you see that the line that you draw will correspond to all the other lines that you have done already. Opa, broken lines now I know the Siciano. And as I am could be the oil will be put your ruler there and come to D. So now we are operating between B and D. As we go on, I'll give you the techniques, but I want you to see how this one is done before next time we firm it up. So, for ruler to the 0.2 line you drew at B. Now for the middle, the center of the cardinal at D. What the part of? Now we measure 0.4. What the two are? What the 0.4 measure? I was outside in so your 0.4 will get you somewhere. So at D, you are measuring 0.4. That's all. We are measuring 0.4. And especially in the first quadrant. We are now in here, you find that your 0.4 line will be about the protractor no actually. Would lie around if you do it properly well. It will correspond to the 30-degree line. It may correspond to the 30-degree line. But this time you know it is 0.4 centimeters in length. So you have another short line over there. You have another short line over there. 0.4. Have you all done it? I'm not seeing the list. But sanity. When you evident, it will look so strange and so on. But with 1, 2, 3, 4 practice, you'll be fine. That is why until recently or before computers were introduced, if you got closer to a surveyor, there's something called surveyor's table. If you have seen one of them work before, you will see that they operate with certain little figures. Some of them use even magnifying lenses to be able to do their plotting because they are operating with small figures. All right, now we are connecting the tip of the 0.3 line at C to the tip of the 0.4 line at D. Again, we are connecting the tip of the 0.3 line at C to the tip of the 0.4 line at D. And when you have been able to connect them, you are joining the two lines with broken lines. Broken lines. Broken lines. broken lines. Safini?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now let's go to, we are done with D. Let's go to E. We're coming to stand at E. We're coming to stand at E and use the figure we got. It's 0.45, but let's make it 0.5. 0.45 is, yeah, 0.45, 0.5. Okay. Now at E, still in the first quadrant. Still in the first quadrant. All right. On the same line, continue. On the same line, just behind E, the line E and A prime, just behind it, small distance from it. Stand at the middle of the cardinal at E. Stand at the middle there. Okay. Now when you stand at the middle there, use your ruler to measure 0.5 or 0.45 line behind line E, A prime. In fact, you can even put it just around it. Let your dot touch the the line EA. And that line, that dot should be 0.45 or 0.5. Okay. Again, you see that you are still within the first quadrant. You are still in the first quadrant. You are still in the first quadrant. Then 0.5 centimeter line drawn. So
Yes.
after you have gotten your 0.5, you have to draw a line to connect the dot to the center of the cardinal at E. Okay, Jankwe. Stand at the tip. Continue. Stand at the tip of the 0.4 line at D. The area is Siano. That line is in. And then go and stand at the tip of the 0.5 line at E. Go and stand there too. So now the two lines are well aligned, straight line. Then you connect the two lines with dotted or broken lines. Broken lines. Dotted or broken lines. Yanyano, have we gotten it? Until
Yes, sir.
okay. Now we are done with all the plottings. The reading into the Akano, we are going to connect the tip of the 0.45 line at E. We are connecting the tip of the 0.45 line at E or 0.5 line at E to the center of the cardinal at A so that error will close. The label will be here. So when I mention the figure or the alphabet, you should know the one I'm talking about. I repeat, we have 0.5 line, 0.5 line standing now at E. We have already connected the two lines, the D and the E. But we have to connect the E to A. And so put your ruler on top of that 0.45 line or 0.5 line. And let the ruler also pass through the center of the cardinal. Your cardinals at A. Let the ruler pass through the center of your cardinals at A. So now the 2 points are well aligned. When they become well aligned like that, what will be left would be to draw your dotted lines connecting the 2 points, dotted lines. As for how your dotted lines will stand, how long or short, depends upon the distance you are dealing with. So you have a dotted lines done over there. At this stage, your error has been closed. At this stage, your traverse has been adjusted. Your traverse has been what? Adjusted. Any problem with the last leg of what you have just done? If there's no problem, let me show you what we have done. As for what is on your screen, you know it already. But this is what we have done. Look at the diagram on your screen. Look at the diagram on your screen. The blue marks are the original plottings. The blue marks are the original plottings. The red marks are the adjusted plottings. The red marks are the adjusted plottings. So roughly, you can compare what you have done to what is on your screen. Compare them. Let's see whether at least they correspond in any way or they look alike in any way. It should be, they may not be the same, but at least there should be some semblance, some similarity between them. Who had it right? Who had it right? Until the adjustment, first one, to traverse, the corrected one, the adjusted one should be like this. Let me repeat. The blue lines, the solid lines, the blue solid lines, or the solid blue lines are the initial plotting. They are the traverse legs that were plotted. It is from here that we saw an error, cruising error, or a gap. We sought to correct that gap or close it. We adopted the Bardich rule and we spread that small error over all the plotted points. A was not corrected because that was the starting point, so there was no error there. You cannot be in error when you haven't done anything. At A, we had not plotted anything, so there was no error there. Okay, the error started when we plotted B. So if you check, you see that from A flying all the way to B. And when you start from A, your dotted lines will pass through line AB until it gets somewhere to the middle. That it will be departing. All right. Then, if you from B to C, you see that because you are moving from the top there down, your line is almost adjacent line BC. All right, adjacent line BC. Then from C to D, there is a a little departure from the line CD, and from D to E, they are almost parallel, just that at E, the line rises a bit. Then from E to A, it is adjacent the line EA prime. So that is how to adjust your traverse. That is our first exercise. It has been a marathon. It is not easy. Even face to face, it is not easy. Face to face. And in fact, I must consider that this one, it is not even easy for people who have been doing it over and over. It takes a while to be able to do this. All right, so don't worry if you fumbled with it. Maybe next time we will try and do another one. Maybe with the same figure, because I've told you, I don't know how you learn. I've been trying to point to the 5 questions that I've given you. But anytime I mention it, it appears nobody has even been there. You don't know what it entails, because surely one of them would be a past question. If you brought it out, you could have used it for this exercise. That is the end of the adjustment. Any question? For what is so? This will be said. Adjustment is but at least the first part where you were adding and those things, I know you had it right. Any problem? Any problem?
I said, please, with the second phase that we did, I believe most of us understood, but then have to do the next.
Again.
I said
that again. I didn't get the beginning of your contribution.
Okay, I said the second phase that we did. That is the how we use the 0.5 to divide to join the A prime to A and then the others. For that one, I believe most of us understood. But then after that, converting the B prime figures with the broken lines is where most of us, I think, have the problem. So I will plead with you that in our subsequent next meeting, take us to that particular aspect. Thank you.
Yeah, Millicent has sent hers. Let me review it. You missed the location of your 0.45 line at E. You missed it. You should have been behind line E A prime. You missed that one. And then the distance between the original plot and original traverse A and B. That one too, I believe your distance, let me see. Your distance was quite short. So it is looking, your figure is looking more like a triangle. But it shouldn't be, it's more or less a cuboid, sort of. So you missed that side. Again, the adjustment, all your lines, all your adjusted lines are, I think, in the last quadrant or so. But they should have been in the first quadrant if my eyes are not deceiving me. All right. Yes, you can use the last quadrant, but anytime you push it to some other side, it will affect the positioning on the other side. So I wanted us to follow a certain pattern. You see, the movement is such that ours, if you check the plotting, you go up, you come down, and then you take a level, and then it goes up again. That is what you call the direction of flow or direction of movement. And that is what informs where your adjusted lines or adjustment lines will be. This one, the traverse started, and then it went down, then it went up again. So the final thing, all right, the final line becomes the determining factor. All your adjustment lines should have corresponded to the final line. I said we are only using this for practice. The next time, I would have told you that whatever adjustment line, the adjustment lines are the 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and so on. All the adjustment lines must stand perpendicular to the last line. No, that's a perpendicular, parallel to the last line. So, Millicent, that is your work. It should have been parallel, all the lines should have been parallel to the last line. Okay. So at least we have seen, you have gotten some skill in here. We can't be perfect on the first bounce. No. We can only get some skills, some ideas, some knowledge about it the first time. But as time goes on, with 1, 2, 3, 4 plottings, you'll be fine. So don't worry if you didn't get any of them. At least you have an idea now. Tomorrow, because it's now 9:30. 9:30. I know some of you are dozing off. Tomorrow we will use another one, and another skill, another technique will come. It will be the same data. At this time, we will apply the one we plotted earlier, the first plotting we did. I think that was on Saturday? That plotting we did is what we will use. That one, the distances are long. So you look at a situation where your distances are too long, say that if you sum them up, there wouldn't be any paper to contain them. So you'll be forced to what? To scale the distance down. Usually you do it by half. So tomorrow you will use the same data to do it. But I expect you to flip through your past questions to give us any question on Traverse so that we can work on that one too. All right. Any more questions? I don't know whether I've answered the first speaker, but I saw to make general statement to the effect that don't worry if you couldn't follow, at least especially the last bit. Don't worry at all. Tomorrow you practice another way. Even as you are preparing to go to bed, you can do your own practice. Bit by bit, you'll be fine. Yeah, Pomba.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, please, looking at the E and the A prime. That's the line E and A prime. You realize that it is not that line has tilted a bit from the original line. That's which or from the original point, which is A. So I don't know. And per the diagram that you have shown us, is this plotting also okay? Because me, that's what I had, but I was thinking that there's something wrong with my angles. But because the one you are showing us is like they are the point A and E, the line is in line.
See, I've gotten you covered. I've seen what you are talking about. You are not wrong. You are right. Your point, your plotting was right. You get it. I got the same thing. My last plotting, the A prime didn't fall in a straight line with A and E. It didn't. It was a bit tilted. It is correct. So when you adjust, the adjustment will give you a straight broken line. I hope you understand that. That is a perfect observation. It tells me that some of you are meticulous. So when you adjust, the adjustment will give you a straight broken line. Okay. So what is in the book? If you look at the original plotting, hey, my free hop. How do I even go back? If you look at the original plotting, down there, it is written not to scale. Down there, image of plotted traverse, not to scale. My year free hop, and maybe I don't think I can go back and get it for you. So, Steve, you are right. That is how it should be. But the dotted lines will correct it perfectly for you, and that is what it should be. Any more questions? Don't worry. Now you have the idea. The idea is there. Idea of adjustment, idea of plotting. You have it. So if you are building on it the next time, it becomes easier. So don't worry. Hey, adjustment now. Over so just on the first meeting, no way. You have to struggle a bit. Some of us, we took a lot of exercises before we became perfect. All right. So if there are no concerns, it's enough for the day. The can So we have only skill to plot and then area also to to calculate area of a triangle, area of a rectangle. But some of you even are teaching mathematics, so you know how to calculate these things. And then area of an irregular shape. That is the only one that will call for some intervention. That's all. Apart from that, the rest of the book you have to read. It's all reading. So we are ending today's session. Any more questions? Okay. If everything is fine, let's end it here. And call it a night. Okay, so I am ending with we are 32 or 31 now. People have started. I'm going to post data. Okay, I know a free so. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Yes. Tomorrow we shall do another practice of adjustment. We shall plot, identify the gap, and then adjust the gap. Thank you all of you for coming. Let's try and meet tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. Originally, it is not supposed to be our meeting day, but I've told you the difficulty I have in the coming week. All right. Saturday, I will not be available. Sunday, we don't meet. Monday, we don't meet. Tuesday, I will not be available. Wednesday, I will not be available. I'll be available only a week tomorrow. Therefore, we have to meet tomorrow in order that we can compensate for the days that I will not be there. All right. By tomorrow, adjustment will be over. So by next week, Thursday, when we meet, or if I find that I'll be able to meet you quickly, I'll relay the information to Steven for him to communicate with all of you so that we meet and do some discussion. As I said, the only thing that is my headache is the scale. Yeah, the scale and maybe area. That's what I can do. When you're booking now, it's all reading. You read and understand. All right, thank you very much. Steven, what is the latest about the books?
Sir, I called him last night. He couldn't pick. I called him this morning to the same thing. Probably tomorrow morning I will call him.
Yeah, because you are dealing with him directly. I have also relaxed. I don't want to jump in there. I'm also it's not too well, so I don't want to be disturbing him with calls like that. So you keep on. Now you have the first chapter with you, all right, or the first unit. Just memorize it or finish learning it, so that any subsequent one that will come will only come and add to you. Usually our first cases are up to, I think, the end of chapter 2. All right. So take note of that. The whole book is how many chapters or in book? The whole book is I think 6 chapters or so. So the first case will be up to the end of chapter 3. Yeah. If we have 6 units. Yeah, we have 6 units. So the first case will be up to the end of chapter 3. But yeah, let me see. After chapter 3, chapter 2, you have done this, you have done that. All of this. Yeah, we are now into chapter 3. Baseline, selecting stitches, compass survey. So we are into chapter 3 now. We are into chapter 3. And in fact, yes, we are done with chapter 3. We are done with the area, foundation area, and we are done with chapter 3. As for chapter 4, it is more to do with the only strange thing there will be the skills, as I keep mentioning. After the skills, the rest are just reading. Reading. The rest. Chapter 5 says there is only about how many pages? Chapter 5 is only 4 pages. Chapter 5. That is two sheets per. And also, yeah. Then chapter 6 is also I think 3 or 4 sheets. The rest and big deal. So we are ending. Thank you for coming. I'll keep in touch with Steven to know the updates. But try and the little that you have heard, try and solve the part, especially with the plotting. Any question in there on traverse and its adjustment and plotting. Until tomorrow, may God keep all of us in His bosom. Bye-bye.
Take your ruler. Let's do some traversing.
Yeah, Prof. Mayor.
Along with my forces here.
Mayor. Scribble.
Let me chat you.
Yamebe.
Sure.